9 o'clock, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First on the agenda is approve the minutes. Move to approve the minutes of September 9th, 2024 is written.
I'll move.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. We'll head down to our miscellaneous motions. Move to authorize direct chairman to sign Coffee County payroll notice for Kerry Hugoton, transfer from Health Department Office Coordinator to Treasurer, MV, and Tax Specialist, pay grade from 3518 to 30-05, a wage from 2627 to 20.61, effective 9/10/2024. I'll move.
I'll second.
Moved by Knight, seconded by Meats. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. And then next, I think you all see the capital improvement plan was handed out for 2024. Is the next miscellaneous motion. Move to approve capital improvement plan dated September 16th, 2024.
So moved. I'll second that.
Moved by Meat, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Next one. Move to authorize direct chairman to sign one tax abatement in the amount of $9,631.14.
I am kind of locked out of my emails, so what's the reason for this?
I think what it was for, Tom, is for the old high school building at Gridley.
Oh, okay.
The taxes were way high on that when it wasn't being taxed because it was a school, and this guy got it, I guess you'd say reappraised, I guess.
Okay.
Well, went through the Board of State Tax Appeals, state of Kansas. They had a hearing on it and said that it was overvalued.
Okay.
Which really nothing we can do about it other than say.
Yeah, but it was too high.
They went ahead and set the current appraisal value at 63.4, which is about 15% of what the county had it appraised.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good enough.
So it's
but they bought it at the auction for $1, so.
about $1, so.
I so moved.
Yeah.
I'll second. Moved by Hugoton, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? Further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And auction year bid opening, is that?
No.
That's on the agenda.
That's on. Okay. All right. We'll go to jail update, River City Construction.
Morning, gentlemen.
Lots changed out there since last Monday.
Trying to.
Don't be any weather to shut it down, so.
Tom, good to see you again.
Thank you, sir.
It's good to see that, but the rain, good soaking rain still helps.
Just do it on Saturdays and Sundays, and I don't
Yeah.
care. It looks like, well, I mean, I looked at the weather, it looks like Saturday and Sunday, there's a pretty good chance there. But, you know, look at it here in a couple hours, they'll change that on.
Yeah, it's been fading away lately.
So as you can see, kind of what's going on out there now, we're getting some exterior metal framing up on the west side of the building. We're gonna start sheeting on that today. Interior wise, the masons are laying interior walls in the control center, day room pods, and they're actually gonna start some exterior brick this afternoon. Speaking of that, we do have a mock-up laid just right by my trailer on the sidewalk. So at any time, if you guys want to come over and look at that, kind of what the finishes will be, the color of the brick, the ethos and everything, how that all is going to tie together. feel free to come over and look at it.
Right inside the fence, or is it?
Yeah, it's inside the fence, right by my trailer.
Okay.
So if you guys want to take a look at it, like I said, just get a hold of me and we'll make it happen. As far as steel erection going, they set the bar joists in the Sally Port on Friday. They got a bridge it. They're going to deck it today and start putting decking on the high roof above the county attorney offices. And then Friday we loaded the roof with insulation, all the material, roofing material. They're starting on that today. Hopefully get it all done, temped in 2 weeks. So hopefully we get this thing dried in and
Great.
no more water in the building. So like I said, the way it's going, the weather's been cooperating, so we've been able to make some pretty good moves. So far everything's right on schedule. No concerns there. So
Don't see any problems.
not that I can see. So, but like I said, if I say something, I'll jinx myself and it'll rain for 2 months and I won't get nothing done. So.
On the south side of the building, there's, piping coming up through it, looks like you're going to, pour a pad there, what's that? It'd be on the south side right by.
Is that the generator yard?
Oh,
You're talking the conduit coming out?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where the generator sits and your transformer.
Okay.
Yeah, so we cleaned all that up. Concrete Unlimited's coming next week to pour those.
Okay, I was just curious.
Yeah, so once we get those poured, I talked with Burlington Electric, they're gonna set the transformer and then the generator, it's in Kansas City, so we'll get it set. So, yeah, everything's tracking pretty good. You guys got any questions, other questions?
Yeah, we're gonna be listening about 4 change orders today.
Uh-huh.
Are they actually change orders, or they happen to be something like we had here a month ago where the bidder and the engineer didn't catch something that was just added to the contract?
Well,
Or are these actual change orders?
I'll be honest with you, Cole kinda handles all that stuff, so
Okay.
I don't know what's
Okay. That's my
on it
fault.
today.
They've got my names mixed up.
No, it's
Sorry
okay.
about-
It's
sorry
all right.
about that.
Cole's not here today.
Cole's the one that signed all of them.
Right, well, he sends them off to Goldberg and then we get them back
And
once
I
they're
just-
approved,
I don't-
so. Cole takes care of all the change orders, I don't know which ones you'll actually be going over today.
Something to me that, you know, if the bidder missed something as part of the project and they signed off on it, to me, that's not a change order.
Mm-hmm,
And I'm gonna back up on that things.
right.
We went ahead and approved that one, and to me, it shouldn't have been approved, because the bidder should have just went ahead and ate it.
Mm-hmm. And I don't know which one.
It's not a change.
I don't know which one you're referring to. The only one I can think of just that comes
We
off the
only
hand.
had one.
There's one with some ductwork. So actually on like the bid documents, it was actually, if you look on like a BIM model, electronically, they have layers. And you can take different pipes out, you can take this out. Well, that layer on the actual bid documents wasn't on. So the ductwork has to be there. And say that layer was on bid day, sorry, then they would have bid it. So just to say, they didn't miss it, it just wasn't there. So we know it has to be done to have the project completed. So like I said, if it was there on bid day, they were gonna bid, their bid would have been higher. So essentially, at the end of the day, it would have been bid, it would have been, paid for.
The way they explained it, it was there. They just-
I don't, see, I'm not.
And they just missed it.
Right, and I don't know which one you're referring to. And like I said, Cole goes over that stuff.
But
And
we'll
sees
see
that.
how these 4 come out today.
Right,
And it may be change orders.
right.
If they are, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I just don't want to speak on behalf of Cole and what they
Yeah.
are,
Okay.
because I might say something that is, it may not be wrong, but it may not be what you're referring to, so.
Okay?
But yeah.
It may be good today.
Okay. So like I said, Cole should be back Monday if you got any
Yeah.
questions, any other questions.
Well, Wade may be here then, he might have a better explanation
Right.
if we need more.
Because I think he goes over them every month with
Yeah.
Wade and Sheriff.
So the
He
others
kinda
are already
explains.
done, since done and gone.
Right,
But these 4, we'll see how they show up.
okay. So, other than that, that's all the info I got.
Thank you, sir.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Planning and zoning administrator, Heidi Harris.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. So I'm gonna pass out some paperwork for you to look at. This is in regards to the comprehensive plan that you guys decided to put in place on September. We'll start the process to put in place. That was discussed on September
Right.
3rd. So I wanted to come today to discuss the statute of what would be required, and then also show you the RFP that I have started, so I can know how we could proceed forward.
So we discussed, you say we discussed this on,
On September 3rd, during the hearing for the proposed solar regulations, you guys the commissioners did a 3-year moratorium, and in the moratorium, it talked about a comprehensive plan. You guys wanted
but
to
nothing
develop.
was passed to
Correct.
do a moratorium, or to do a comprehensive plan, right?
That was part of the.
In the moratorium, it said that you wanted the county to do a comprehensive plan. It can take up to 3 years to complete that plan.
Okay.
And the moratorium is the way I understood it.
Okay. But us as a commission has not discussed a comprehensive plan for the county.
Not to my knowledge, that is correct, yes.
Is that a fair statement?
It is. The only time it was brought up was,
It was tied to the 3-year moratorium.
right, but a year ago on the first moratorium that we did, I think something was brought up about a comprehensive.
Last year, if you don't mind me interjecting, I can speak a little about that. Last year, you guys had talked about, in the moratorium from a year ago, you talked about the comp plan plus doing solar regs. But then the way I understood it was you wanted us to push forward with solar regs, so we kind of put the comp plan a little bit on the back burner. I had started the RFQ, but was waiting until we got a planning consultant to be able to help us guide us through the process, and then, so we did that instead. And then this year, you decided to go ahead and push forward with the comprehensive plan. So that's what I'm here today to discuss. So, the one that has all the pretty colors on it, that's the state statute. So in it, it talks about who can do the plan. So the planning board is the ones that make or cause the plan to be made for the county, and they include references for the cities as well. And then there could be other local agreements that could be in it too as well. So that's what the first statement says. So then it goes into more details about who it goes to first. So like zoning regulations, the comp plan starts at the planning and zoning level. But with the help of the contractor that you would hire to develop the comp plan, they're the ones that are be the guiding force on how it's written. The planning board would be like, we want to put this, this, and this in it. And then those items down there are also discussed under A. So it's going to go over the general location, extent, and relationship of the use of land for agricultural, residence, business, industry, recreation, education, public buildings, and other community facilities, and major utility facilities, both public and private, and any other use deemed necessary. Then we'll talk about population and building intensity standards and restrictions in the application of those. Then he talks about the public facilities, including transportation facilities of all types, whether it be public or privately owned, related to transportation. Now I'm on D in the statutes. D talks about your public improvement stuff and determining the relativity of the urgency of those. E is the major sources and expenditures of public revenue, including long-range financial plans for the financing of public facilities and capital outlays based upon a projection of the economic and physical activity of the community, both public and private. Then you get into utilization and conservation of natural resources, and then any other areas that would be deemed necessary, which you could talk about your renewables here on E. That's how I would look at that one. G, sorry. And then, then it goes into how once the plan is kind of in a place where it's ready to go to that public hearing, like with zoning regs, the planning board will hold the public hearing, have the 20 days again, and then the final decision is from you guys to decide if you like what's in it, you like the wording, and then you guys decide if we have that or not. And then it just goes into more details about how that finishes out with you guys being able to vote. And then on the back, it talks about once the comprehensive plan is in place, then how amendments to it are made. So currently built into the zoning regulations and also into the bylaws of your planning board, there's a yearly comprehensive plan review in October. So after we get passed, the planning board would look at it with me and we decide maybe this piece isn't quite working or that it's working okay or whatever, just to see if there's changes we'd have to make.
That's
So-
still gonna be, when you get to that point, is that still gonna be the commission has the final say?
Yes.
About any changes that
Yes.
are made to it?
Yes. The planning board would be the one to do the research, the background, gathering and stuff to say, hey, this isn't quite working. Because your plan, you use your plan to guide your development. So like you're gonna put in where you plan to grow for housing, where you plan to go for industrial, commercial, and all those stuff. So like at Vito, maybe we wanna build in some more things up there to show more industrial or commercial uses up there coming in. Or maybe you wanna put some more housing districts out there, kind of thing. That would be built into the plan. Then when we get those cases to come in for planning and zoning, then we can say it conforms with our plan or not. So if we built them in there, and that's going in that area, it would conform with our plan, because we built it into the plan that way. So this is just an overview of that. And then I also brought the RFP, is over here, in the other document that Russ and I have looked at. It is ready to go, if you guys are ready for me to push forward with it, or if you want more time to look at it.
And that's to go out and
Actively look for planning for the comprehensive plan firm.
right.
So that would be what I would ask if you'd like to do next. And then as I'm looking for them, the next question for you would be, who would you like to conduct the interviews? Would you like to be the commissioners as a whole, planning board, both, or Russ's experience, he's seen a bridged group of people where it's not all of the commissioners. He's seen it where it's the zoning administrator, the one in charge of your planning and zoning, usually one planning board member, preferably your chairman of that board, then a couple of members, like 2 or 3 of the commissioners being in on that, and then whoever else, like maybe Carl, have him in on it too, because sanitation will come into a role as well. So I just wanted to know how to proceed forward, so, with what you guys had asked for on the 3rd.
Well, the last option didn't sound too bad to me,
Okay?
but I want input from everybody.
Oh, no, I agree. I think it needs to be
And I'll clarify something. This is a separate issue from the solar, so I do
Yes.
have a right to talk on it.
Yes.
So,
This is
you know,
totally
Yes.
I
separate.
don't want anybody growling about that afterwards, because the comprehensive plan is separate from
For the whole entire county.
It's for the whole
not
entire
just
county.
one project. You're gonna talk
Right.
about everything, including city stuff as well.
I was going to say the cities are going to be involved.
Yes.
I mean, as
Right.
you
That's
guys.
the way I understood
Right.
it.
As other zoning administrators or planning departments have told me, they will have, town hall meetings, is what they'll call it. So in each community, they'll go have a town hall meeting and ask them, what do you need for roads and bridges? What about your public transportation? All that kind of stuff. They'll bring up all these issues.
There's just a lot of
So-
input
Yes.
from us.
And
From
then they'll
within the
develop
county.
those topics I talked about, they'll develop it into a document that they'll write up to.
I've only had one communication that came in to me, and that they were concerned about the cost of the city. Have you done any checking in to see what the length of time it would be for a business or a company to put that all together and what the expected cost might be?
I haven't reached out to any of the firms yet because I wasn't sure how soon we're ready to do that. It depends how much you put into it. It depends how many diagrams, how many pictures, how much community involvement you want, those stakeholders, and all that. It takes how long the company takes to put it all together. So the price range, I don't want to throw out a price because
Yeah, I fully understand.
yeah, the price would
I
be
do.
based on the community size, so like your bigger communities are gonna be a lot more, like Johnson County and those, where we may not be as much as that, but it depends how much information we want in the plan to be able to utilize for other decisions in the county.
Following the meeting the other day, do we need technically to send this back to the planning board, or does it automatically go back to the planning board?
Which piece?
That's a good question.
The first step, I think, is to, Russ is involved, correct?
Yes,
All right.
the rest is involved. The first step is for me to get your blessing to go forward with the RFP that I showed you here. That would be, I would need to know if you're ready for me to push this out to companies, and then
Because all you're doing is just reaching out to companies to
do all the information in here. They're gonna give us
and they'll come
a
back with,
timeline, they're gonna give us how much it's gonna cost, they're gonna tell us all this information I have in here, scope of work. They're also gonna tell us other ones they've done as well, and they're gonna have insurance requirements in here, so we're not liable for when they're on our roads or doing a project. So there's other elements in here that they'll have to comply with as
And if
well.
I understand it right, the firm that you'd be looking for would be, their expertise would be for counties our size, not necessarily for a Johnson County or a Sedgwick County.
Correct.
It would be a firm or a consulting firm that,
They would be familiar with rural counties.
rural counties,
Is
yes.
what I would be wanting to reach out to. And Russ does have a couple in mind, and then we were gonna push it out to the APA, which is the American Planning Association as well, which will end up with a lot of out-of-state companies, but not saying that they're not good companies, but we will end up with out-of-state companies, just to make you aware too, because that's how this works. You usually don't find one usually in Kansas, but maybe we will. Maybe we'll get lucky, but.
Have you reviewed this to the point where you think this is something that all the information in it can be sent out?
There's a couple of tweaks, middle deadline in there that I need to tweak, but not much. There's a couple of dates, couple of dates in here that need tweaked, but other than that, all I gotta do is plug it in and then we can go, so.
So, not to take anything away from Heidi, because I think you do a good job, but is this something that maybe should have been in place years ago?
So,
And it's just a question.
the way planning and zoning works is that it would be nice to have a comp plan with it. A lot of counties had them in place when they had their planning developed, but you don't have to.
I've heard Serrano, when he comes in, he's touched base, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, about a comprehensive
No, he
plan.
did.
Several times,
Yes.
so maybe this is, I mean, Coffee County's gonna grow, it's a very needed item.
Tool, yeah.
And this will be a plan, if I understand it right, Tom, this will be a plan for the next 15 or 20 years. It's just not that you won't necessarily have to follow it, I guess, but it's a guide for the next 20 years for whoever's.
It would be in your best interest to follow it, but there
And I
are
didn't mean
communities. Right, I'm just clarifying, there are communities that example would be renewables. They didn't follow their comp plan on their renewables in one county, I know of recently. So it's how you use it, so.
Okay.
And it wouldn't just be for planning and zoning, it could be for the whole entire county. I mean, it could be for you guys when you make decisions related to other issues that aren't planning and zoning
Right.
too. So it's not just, it helps with planning and zoning, but it also helps with the money that you would be spending in other areas of the government as well. Because you'd have transportation, so road and bridge would be involved as well to be able to give that guidance.
Economic development.
Yep, all the above, so.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of surrounding counties that don't have one. I did visit several other counties, and they do. And I had notes, and I forgot to bring them today. That's been a week ago.
I know Franklin County has one,
I
and
think-
Lyon County has
Yeah,
one as
they're
well.
actually in the process. Franklin County did one in 16,
They're
and
getting
they're
ready to
actually in the
update.
And they're
process
doing
of
an update
updating
now.
it right now.
Right.
And, with visiting with you and Wade, I think myself could be a useful tool. I'm just very concerned about the wording we put in there. Visiting with Mr. Bowie, he said, if that's in your comp plan, and there's a court case come up, very seldom is a judge gonna rule against your comp plan. So I wanna make sure, I don't like government control myself. So I wanna make sure we don't put something in there that's too restrictive, for
You'll have
whatever
the
the-
final say-so
yeah.
on the
Right,
plan.
right. And,
What-
it's just something that's, from visiting with him, has quite a bit of power once you put it in place.
And your input would be as
I
valuable
was
as
going to
well when
say,
we're
we-
putting together. You
We
guys
can be involved.
You guys can do it individually too, put input into it as well, because you are county citizens
Right.
of Coffee County.
Mhm.
So it wouldn't be that, we wouldn't disclude you by any means.
Right.
And I assume Russ sorry, lost my wording. Knows of firms, quotes from?
He knows a couple, and then we'd like to reach out to the APA, which is the American Planning Association. They're a big group that goes to all the states, so it's all different planners from all around the states that they come together as a group, and then they have different companies on there that we could put the RFP on, and then they could apply for us on there.
So we got a wide net.
Yes, that'd be the biggest net you'd have, yes.
That's what I want, is broad, you know,
And then
get
plus
a lot
we'll
of
have
people
those
involved. And
companies he's worked with as well that he's had really good dealings with on comp plans too.
And Wade, that's what I feel. It's not gonna be just a select, I mean, it's going to be, it could be a large group, I mean, it's
Yeah.
diversified.
Well, yeah, just what, as far as the hiring process, or like you said, you guys tell me what you think. The last
No.
option, if I don't need to be one of the commissioners, just a couple commissioners, yourself,
Mike,
Russ,
Russ,
Carl, you know, I mean,
that's
what's
what I was
everybody
thinking.
think?
And then Carl, of course.
Yeah. The nurse in there,
Yes, the current
Yeah.
chairman of the
Yeah.
board would be the one I would ask for as well.
Where's those 2 points at in here that you think need to be changed?
Right there on the first page, the submittal deadline, that is still to be determined,
Okay.
because I don't know. Also, maybe the year might change. I mean, I don't know if 2026 is reasonable for maybe 20, I don't know. That's up to us as we go through what year. Then budget is another one on the next page. I don't know what budget you guys will want to put on it. That's,
But once you get an idea of the cost, then we can go from there. Is that
correct. Yes, and that's what Russ was saying. There's some things that we can tell them it's to be determined, but you can also develop that as we go too.
Because
So,
it depends on how broad a scope.
yes,
That's what determines the cost of the.
yes, yep. And then there's hard copies of how many submittals we want, which I would ask Russ on that one. Then this proposed schedule time, that'll obviously have to change, but I don't know what that'll be since we haven't started reaching out yet. That's on, I think that's on the 4th page. So those are the main portions that would change off this.
Okay.
The rest, the information could change slightly if need be, like the background community description one. That was what I had from the prior document. I'm willing for input from that. So, I mean, that would be the main ones that would change though.
Okay.
There's a huge amount of information in here, it's not false.
Yes.
I'm just gonna say that it's very clear that 90% of the county doesn't want industry, and I don't know that it's a thing to do. I think it's a waste of money, personally.
well, I heard when I came here, what are you gonna do when Wolf Creek goes away? What are you gonna do when Wolf Creek goes away? All that ever got hammered to me. I think we're trying very hard to answer that question with the chips plant, with SSM, and with other industry that wants to come into Coffee County. So, when I look back, you know, during Wolf Creek days, I don't know if people were here, who was here and who wasn't, but Burlington, Kansas really didn't grow, the Coffee County didn't grow tenfold just because of Wolf Creek.
No, they didn't.
Most of those people, they like the bigger cities, they wanna work, they wanna live in a bigger city. I mean, there's some that have settled here, but again, with the industry I think we're looking at, I can see the same thing. You're gonna pull people in from Osage County, Franklin County for the chips plant, and surrounding counties. Again, we did not grow tenfold just because of Wolf Creek, and therefore was a lot of people. So, I don't see where this is of great harm to Coffee County whatsoever with the chips plant or anything that we try to bring in here. I just, if you want an answer for when Wolf Creek goes away, we're trying to give you one. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, can't wait until
You can't wait till
something
2020,
happens and then.
2045 when they're.
Yeah, then try to
if they
fix
got
it.
a
That's too late.
I know they're, I think, I heard, through the grapevine, they are applying for an extension, but, you know,
Yeah.
and there's, you know, of course, there's always rumors of Unit 2, and I have heard that, Wolf Creek wants to put in solar panels
Around there.
eventually,
Yeah.
which is a good, I mean, the transmission lines are there, everything they need is there. So, that was my big concern on the regulations for solar is, you can't, I didn't want to do something that would not allow them to do what they want to do. So, I mean, really,
Harm the biggest taxpayer in the county.
yeah, so we gotta be careful of that as well, is what I wanna see.
I'd like to see us go ahead and proceed with this, but that's my vote, so
I say proceed.
I do too.
Well, I'm concerned about the cost.
the
Everybody's
reason I asked
concerned
it.
about taxes.
That's the reason I asked the
And,
question.
you know,
But again, we'll have, until they get this out and get some bids back in, I mean, that would give us the idea right there.
Yeah, just
Right.
because you get a bid, don't mean you gotta do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly, but at least that'll give us,
so I'm,
because I've asked the same thing, Wade,
Yeah.
because I asked Ms. Heidi, you know, for an approximate cost, and
well, yeah, and that's just, to begin with, I was opposed to it just because of the cost, but, I mean, I guess I hear that there's some value there, to the county of having it. So, I'm interested in seeing what it's gonna cost.
If I can, a comp plan is a policy document that allows the governing body to make decisions based on what that policy document says. It's a document that helps take the county into the future, and if you look at other comprehensive plans in other locations, whether it be a city, a county, or any of the above, it covers, you know, one of the big issues in Coffee County is housing. So housing would be covered within the comprehensive plan. And what is the plan moving forward? You have goals, you have objectives, and what is the goal and objective to move forward for housing, for example, in Coffee County? And it comes up with a plan, and when you follow that plan, as the governing body, it gives you some protection from decisions that you make, so that when somebody wants to attack the county for decisions that you've made, if you're following your comprehensive plan that's been put in place and it's put together based on what the needs of the county are, then it will likely be able to withstand legal scrutiny. Right now, Heidi covered it because I walked in the middle of the presentation. One of the questions that's asked at the zoning level and then also comes before you is in reference to the comprehensive plan. Were decisions made based on what the comprehensive plan is for the county? And right now, if you look and see what the answer to that question is, it references what a 1967 John Redmond.
1967 John Redmond Reservoir Plan, which only goes from 75 up to Vito Junction. It goes out a little bit right past Burlington, but not much. It doesn't reach out too far.
but that was designed strictly for John.
Just for John Redmond.
Right, right.
But that's the only plan we've had in place, so that's the only plan we can reference. So a lot of it's not in that area, so it didn't really influence the decision because.
I mean, Road and Bridge have a 5-year plan. Coffee Fire has a 5-year plan. I mean, this is a plan. It's similar to that, only it's going to be for a 15 or 20-year plan, for Coffee County as a whole.
And at times change, it can be reviewed and updated every 3 to 5
Well,
years.
I already brought it up to them, but it actually gets up reviewed every year with the planning board, technically, is the way it's built in. It doesn't mean you make changes at that time. Maybe no changes need made, but we look at it each year in October after it's been approved.
And to me, that would keep it active, would keep it in motion.
But then, like he said, then you can actually do the changes if you needed to
Right.
within 3 or 5 years. So.
It allows when decisions are made that people can't come back and say the governing body just is shooting from the hip and making decisions. you have a policy document that gives you guidelines and what the vision is for the county moving forward. So that way you have coverage and so that you don't end up with that scrutiny.
And that's why I'm just concerned about what we put in there.
Sure. But you get that.
Get the
say-so.
protection from it, but you know, I just want it to be a workable plan into the future. You know, that's what the idea of it is for the future. It's not stuck in 1970 like some people are, they're thinking. So,
There's no question I'm concerned a little bit about the cost. I know we've got citizens are a little bit concerned about the cost, as you're always going to have some opposition regardless of what it is. Exactly what it is. I'd rather not take 15 months to get the plan in place, that these companies have done plans all the time. Hopefully they could jump in, and I'm not saying I'd like to see it done in 6 months or 8 months or 9 months.
If I can jump in, the companies aren't gonna drag their feet. They have other plans they're gonna be working on. They're gonna wanna get in and get out and get their money, because
Yeah.
that's what they're in the business of doing.
I know
Is what Russ had said.
there's been comments about taking too long to take some action on, like kick it down the can. Well, I'm a little bit on that side of it too. And like the article in the paper, we had the same thing. So, I'm on both sides of the fence. Want it to be done right, fairly quickly, at a fairly low cost. But what that lower cost is gonna be, I have no idea.
and we are unique with, the counties have a nuclear power plant, so I mean, there will be some more things to this plan.
Well, and then we have two big lakes, or a reservoir and a lake
I
too,
mean,
that a
we're
lot
not
of cities don't have either.
We're not a Bear County that doesn't have anything that's gonna have to be addressed. That'd be my thought, just thinking about it. I'm not the planner, of course.
What this also does is complement, if you guys approved, I think, saving to do a water plan and look at the northern, especially the northern half and then southern half of the county. This would be very complementary to that. That allows you to plan where your water mains are and where you can circle and put industry in with those water mains. So they would intertie to where we would have more of a comprehensive plan how to develop the county, how to provide better fire protection for all of our residents too. So it is complementary to something we're already doing.
Okay.
My question, is it gonna cost the county more money because you're putting in a housing plan? Just because it's in your plan, doesn't mean you're gonna have to pay for it?
No. That's,
Is it, or is it not?
it depends how you write it, it depends how you write it in the plan.
Just like Carl said, water, is it because it's in our plan that we're gonna have to pay for it?
It's not that we have to pay for it. My idea is this, is we have a shortage of water across and water mains across the entire county. With the plan that we're coming up with, this also allows us to intertwine with the zoning plan where we can develop different areas according to where things are at. Because the water districts have got to put the water mains in, and they got to extend lines if we're going to grow our county. And if we don't have these type of plans, then we can't grow. Because water is one of our biggest shortages we have out there.
Right.
And without the water plan, we can't grow, period.
I think we're doing a study on water right now, are we not?
Yeah, a week or 2 weeks ago, you give Saban to go ahead, and without that, how can the rural water district progress? How can they work with Public Wholesale 12 or the city of Burlington if we don't know where we're gonna put it? And then where do we adequately also put fire protection in as we plan all this out? Because if we do grow housing development up there, we're also gonna need fire protection for those people. So this allows us to continue to look down the road and interlap with what we're doing with the CHIPS and other things we're doing. This is appropriate planning. It all takes money.
You could probably write it in the plan, maybe, that'd be a question I'd have to ask Russ about financing, but you could probably have it get financed in the plan too, if you felt like you needed to go that far with it too. Because it would be your plan.
It probably won't matter for me.
But you could build that in though, because it would be your plan, so that's another thought and idea.
But this is the first step.
This is the first step. We have to get a company to help develop our plan. I do not have the expertise to do that.
Well, I think myself, I have a lot of faith in Russ and his capabilities, and he's demonstrated in my mind that, what he's done so far for us,
And
if
he's
we'll
definitely-
follow what he says,
He's definitely gonna help us along the way too, since
Yeah.
we've never done one before. He's
Yeah, I know.
definitely gonna guide us through
I
this
feel the
process.
same way. I've got confidence in Russ.
I just don't wanna see it all sliced and diced, that's all. That's my concern. Yeah.
Have you discussed who would do the interviews? Would it
Yes,
be this
they
one?
would like me, the chairman of the planning board, 2 of the commissioners,
Oh, can only have 2.
2 commissioners, and then Carl as well on the team. And then we
Possibly
should
our county
probably,
attorney.
yeah, include Wade as well.
Right.
Yeah.
If he's
If he's
available.
available.
He's like, you just nominated us. You just nominated me, goddamn it.
Stay quiet.
Sit
Would
in
you-
the corner.
Would it be beneficial for Ryan to be involved, or?
Probably Ryan.
Okay, I just want him involved, yep,
Yeah.
Sheriff's office.
could do that.
Johnson doesn't have enough to do. Possibly.
Okay.
If you have somebody hired by them, it would probably be beneficial to have somebody from economic development as well, since that is part of that plan.
Yeah, he was not Rhonda, but she's acting.
Yeah.
It should.
Yes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Anybody else?
I think that's fun.
I think that's plenty. Okay. All right, so I'll go ahead and put in the missing information that we can on this RFP and send it out.
See what it costs.
Very good.
Send it out, get our feelers out,
Yep, I
and then,
think we're gonna be very surprised at what it's gonna cost.
then I'll bring it back to you
I've
guys.
heard some numbers of $1 million, and I think that's crap. It's
That
not
is
gonna
too
cost-
much.
I think you're gonna see anywhere from 100 to 250,000.
And you could, and you could,
Or 3.
Or 3.
but we'll find out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
guys.
Thanks, Heidi.
Have a good day.
Sure. On to the next.
Those are your bids.
A little late, but 9:30, open bids for auctioneer for the Coffee County auction. We read the amount right, Wade? We don't name any names?
How many do you have?
2?
Should be able to
Yeah.
read the name.
Yeah, they're not sealed bids like they are
Okay.
for something different.
Kurt's Auction, KURTZ. Price is 6% commission of total gross sales charged as our fee. They're out of Westphalia, Kansas. Probably just cut through everything on that one. I tried to. Next one is S&S Sales LLC. 14% of total dollar sales.
And winner is,
And they are out of Burlington, Kansas. Well, what is it, 4% off? Green County,
5.
5%?
Still didn't make it.
Still doesn't make it. Okay. We got one at 6% of total gross sales, and one at 14%. And even being the in-county 5%, wait a minute. There's stipulations in this. S&S Sales accepts buyers' payments in the form of a check. Yeah, no, never mind. No, 14%. I guess we have our auctioneers.
And I so moved to accept the bid from Kurt's Farm Officer Services, Coffee County. Be held Saturday, October 19th.
Motion moved by, Huguenin
I'll
to
second.
accept the bid, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. I did not put them back there, but envelopes. Okay. Break time.
You gotta make that motion to load up.
Hmm?
There's a motion to
Oh,
load
sir,
up.
I'm sorry.
There's another one about the items, the auction.
Oh, gotcha. Motion to find various items of property contained on the list dated September 16th are no longer required and cannot prudently be used for the public purpose of Coffee County, and as such, the same shall be disposed of by public auction. Said auction will occur October 19th, 2024 at 9 a.m. at the Coffee County Shop at 1510 South 6th Street, Burlington, Kansas. The county clerk is authorized to publish the notice of intent to dispose of property in the official county newspaper.
I'll move.
I'll second. Moved by Thompson, seconded by Knight. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Okay. Now we're at break time. We'll come back at 10 o'clock.
Yes,
Brett.
Thank you, sir. All right, we're back.
I just gotta have my wife watch the clock. Ask Curry about it.
Yeah, they're not what I was expecting.
10 o'clock, County Councilor Wade Bowie, jail project review of payment application 9 and change orders 16, 17, 18, and 19. And you won't get it done in 20 minutes.
I asked that question to Casey
I talked to Ryan,
before the meeting started.
he's okay being at the very end. You got it, right?
Yeah, I have it in email.
You won't.
Oh, that's it.
We'll borrow Steve's.
Here, you can have mine. I can read it off the, whatchamacallit here.
All right, so I'm trying not to bring in a change order every week, I just try to stack them. But the main one is the pay app, and that's what I'll start with. So you should have got a copy in your materials for the weekend. This is what I go over with River City as we go through and Palm as well. So pay app number 9. For the period ending August 31st, and the payment with the 10% retainage is $1,235,944.46. And that covers initial pay app, it's pay app number 5 for Wheatland Masonry, and it's $211,500 with the 10% retainage. The total request is $235,000. Pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. Block labor and block material, $150 for the labor, $85,000 for the material. If you've been out, you've looked at what's going on, I don't think that needs any additional explanation. HME, which is steel, it's paid app number 7, I don't know what the R is for, but $139,090.50. The total is $154,545. It's the erection of the steel, and that's what the entire total is. specifically steel joist, decking, and lintels. If you can read my writing. IBC Carpentry, payoff number 6 for them. It's not a big request, but $11,045.70. The total before the retainage is $12,273. You see here highlighted MOB per diem. It's exterior wood blocking, mobilization, and travel. That's $5,000. Rough carpentry, wood blocking materials for the roofing, $2,273. DFH, doors, frames, hardware. I think everybody will have that memorized by the end. Setting of the door frames, $5,000, and that gets you your total for that. Romsburg plastering, the total $35,847. With retainage, Romsburg plastering, the total request $39,830. There's a lot of highlights on a lot of things checked. It's all in reference to the roof and the fluid barrier. So if you've seen, it's the yellow stuff, right?
Yeah.
It's a water barrier, and they basically paint it on the bricks just like they do a wall, and it looks like kind of a nasty job that somebody's got to do. So the fluid barrier is the yellow roll-on, $14,280. The installation, the ethos low roof foam is 3 and 4. The brown coat is 5 and 6. The finish coat is 7 and 8. And those are all in reference to the roof except for the roll-on. So that's where that total comes from. Should be also pretty self-explanatory.
Are they putting 4 coats on?
4 coats of what?
4 coats of that paint or whatever you want to call it?
That's just one coat
Okay.
of the fluid barrier.
Okay. It's kind of detailed, there was 4 coats, but technically just 1
There's
coat.
4 layers of things is what he's talking about. There's the fluid barrier, then this white styrofoam looking stuff, that's another insulator. You know, there's these layers that go on to make up the total wall.
Yeah.
Okay.
Soward glass, $15,774. The total includes stored materials, all of it's stored materials, $17,526.67. And glass plus aluminum frames, and there are pictures. So not much of a picture other than the box, but that's what you want, so it's protected, but that's what it is. I'm sure they'd store it here, but they can't because there's nowhere to store it. Next we have Higgins Group Commercial Systems. This is in reference to exterior framing and sheething. This is payout number 2, $118,462.86. The total before the retainage is $1,316.25.40. And this is in reference to mobilization, lifts, tools, and materials. The 28, office overhead, $10,000, exterior framing labor for the metal studs, $20,000, exterior framing material, $72,671. So that should also be pretty self-explanatory based on what's out there if you've looked at the metal framing and see what it is. Holly Jail, $500,539.21. Total is $556,154.67. That includes work completed. That number's wrong. plus stored materials for $49,889.93. So the total for the work completed will show up in the next section, but all the stored materials, security hollow metal material, detention hardware, security wall panels, all of that adds up, accumulated on several pages, plus the work completed for the SEC engineering project management software programming, continued on to the next page. And those total between the two end up equaling the 556,154.
Looks like they took 22,000 plus as a revision to shower changes.
So those are
So
all,
they're doing it here and not as a change order?
well, they've already done it through change orders, and
They've already
this is
done
just
this
where
one.
it's reflected.
Okay.
So, their change order, I can't remember if it's potential change order or change order number, because the two sort of track differently. River City goes with potential change orders, the county goes with change orders. So I believe these reference back to the county's change orders, change order 1, 2, and 3, where change order 1 is an added cost, which would be deducted from the contingency. Change order 2 and 3 would be subtracted. So, if that makes any sense. And then all those materials McElroy's is next, 82,000. This is application number 6 for them. 82,800. The total is 92,000. The highlighted areas are what's applicable for work completed: plumbing fixtures, shower boxes, roof drains, toilet sleeves. $12,000. If you've looked inside, they've been working, setting things. It's pretty self-explanatory if you drive by. You won't be able to see inside here before too long, but at least for the time period you can see where all these amounts are coming from. And then Sally Port changes is the last one, $2,000. Chalet Electric, any questions so far? I know you've had a chance to look at these. Chalet Electric, 36,974.46. Work completed, 24,886.75 plus stored materials equals 41,82.75. This is the one we have to go back and sort of subtract what's been covered already in stored materials. So if you look on yours, you subtract from last month. I had to go pull last month, subtract what was already there, and that's where I come up with the 16,196, and then plus the work completed, 41,82.75.
I'm not sure, I know over the weekend, I never had a chance to see any of this. Never did come through.
I sent them through email.
Go on.
I sent all of it through email.
Yeah.
I never did. I don't think see it. I mean, I can just see it up here.
Okay, well, if you want to look at it.
This, I'm right.
Okay. And that covers your pay app. There's some additional pictures. I didn't want to inundate you with pictures. They're all in reference to Poly Jail, and they're just pictures of boxes of Coffee County items stored by Poly Jail. So I don't know if they really have any use other than they took the picture to show that it's a stored item.
Right.
So
They were unloading, semi-loading stuff out there this morning.
Mm-hmm.
I would, throw out the initial motion to approve application and certificate for payment, application number 9 for period ending 8/31/24, submitted by River City Construction LLC in the amount of $1,235,944.46 for work completed reference to Coffee County Law Enforcement Center project, and the funds to come from the jail construction project fund, Fund 111.
That's so moved.
One second. Moved by Huguet, second by Meats. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye, motion passes.
I was reading over the rest of your change orders, they're all deductions, which is not a bad thing.
They're all being pulled from the contingency fund.
Deduction to the contingency.
They're still a plus, they're just full, decreasing the
I
set.
read that wrong.
Yeah.
I did that
See?
last time we did it.
Yeah.
I said, this is great. No, it's not.
Red
First
is
one
bad, green is good.
First one I see come through, I read it the same way, Tom.
Alright, so I'm not gonna show all of these up there, the
Okay.
change orders.
Yeah.
They were sent to you, so I'm just gonna go through. Number 16 is in reference to potential change order 21, which is 27,188, and potential change order 29, which is $1,040 for a total of $28,228 to be deducted from the project contingency. Those are referenced to revisions associated with, and I've got it here if you want to see it, there for revisions to the kitchen and supplies to the kitchen equipment. And for example, one of the pieces of equipment that was originally a part of things was a planetary mixer, and it's $11,648. Tom said absolutely not. He asked that be removed, and that was removed and distributed through other items, including a benchtop food processor, countertop, a food slicer, ice maker, and other various pieces of kitchen equipment for the jail. And then there's also some revisions to the kitchen area of the jail itself. And you should have had that to review and take a look at. Do you have any? Don, do you want to see?
No, it's explained well enough,
Okay.
fair way.
So, motion for the board to approve and for the chairman to sign change order number 16 regarding construction related to the Coffee County Law Enforcement Center as approved by River City Construction on August 12, 2024, with costs associated with potential change order 21 and 29, which includes contract document revisions associated with potential change order 21, including additional costs associated with the following: contract document revisions associated with PR 007 kitchen changes, as well as kitchen equipment revisions per email from GGA, deduct 27,188, and which includes contract document revisions associated with PCO 29, including additional costs associated with the following: contract document revisions associated with submittal number 114000-002, adding electrical changes in kitchen, deduct 1,040, with a total of $28,228 to be deducted from the project construction contingency with no change in the project guaranteed maximum price of $25,712,885.
I'll move.
Moved by Thompson, seconded by McCurry. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye, motion passes.
Number 17 is in reference to potential change order 27. The total is $5,591. It is specifically in reference to expediting the procurement and installation of stateroom steel and decking. This was accelerated because of the tight fit above the dispatch area, and that's what it's in reference to, so that they could,
But going in the second floor, it had to get done, they're ahead of themselves, so they had to come in and get the plumbing from the second floor down, it's, you know, right above the dispatch center to go down and around, so they could start the second floor early to get the concrete poured. So they just had to have this done. Yes, that's a good thing that they're ahead of themselves to get that done, but
Probably a good $5,591 spent.
yeah, that's all it takes.
That's all.
Yeah.
as a result, there's a motion for the board to approve and the chairman to sign change order number 17 regarding construction related to Coffee County Law Enforcement Center as approved by River City Construction on August 27, 2024, with costs associated with potential change order 17, which includes costs associated with expediting the procurement and installation of the steel decking for the safe room dispatch, which includes additional mobilization and demobilization for early installed safe room steel and decking with $5,591 to be deducted from the project construction contingency with no change in the project guaranteed maximum price of $25,712,885.
Also moved. I'll second. Moved by Meeks, seconded by Knight. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Change order 18 covers potential change order 30 and 31. 30 is 1,022 for additional exhaust duct and 31 for additional fire smoke dampers. Total is 13,089, and specifically it covers, I think it's self-explanatory within the document, but I've included within the motion the specific language. There are designs. It's a pretty thick packet if you want to see it. I'm sure you looked at it, but I'll just move to the motion. Motion for the board to approve and the chairman to sign change order 18 regarding construction related to the Coffee County Law Enforcement Center as approved by River City Construction on August 30th, 2024, with costs associated with potential change order 30 and 31, which includes contract document revisions associated with PCO 30, including additional costs associated with the following: addition of a 12x12 exhaust duct within booking intake corridor, adding transfer between 176 exam and 146 secure corridor, removal of second exhaust frame for ISO 177, addition of 8-inch duct for 146 secure corridor at the deduction of $1,222, and it also includes contract document revisions associated with PCO 29, including additional costs associated with the following: contract revisions associated with RFI-0865 fire smoke damper clarifications, including furnishing and installing 7 54x18 smoke dampers in jail space. That's a deduction of $11,876, with a total of $13,089 to be deducted from the project construction contingency with no change in the project guaranteed maximum price of $25,712,885.
Go ahead, I'll just ask after the second.
I'll move.
And I'll second.
So the 11,867, that's a deduction, and then the 13,000, that's the correct amount, is that right? Wade?
1389.
Right, 1389, but the 11,867, that was a deduction itself.
Yeah, both of them are deductions for the total of $13.89.
They're both deductions to the contingency,
Correct.
not deductions to the cost.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I seen deducted and quit reading.
Yeah, I
'cause
did.
You take this 1,222 and add it to the 11,867,
And that comes, yeah, okay.
that confuses me.
I try to,
Obviously, it confused me.
for each of the potential change orders, each has a deduct amount, so I include both of them and total them in the red, just so you know where it comes from.
Moved by McCurdy, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Seconded by Meeks. Any further discussion?
Yeah, the only question I had. Yes, addition of the 12 club exhaust and all those changes there, those are changes that are recommended by River City, or are they recommended, how's that recommendation come in? So it's not an oversight by the company that's doing the work, is it?
So-
That's the Introva, isn't it? And that's
Yeah.
the- Introva, go ahead, wait a second.
I'm gonna find it, go ahead, Bill.
Introva is architect company, and they're saying that these dampers, for example, you know, should have been put in place. River City was saying, there's an argument, River City says, there's nothing that says those have to be in there. Introva says, oh, you're right, but they should be put in. And so River City's arguing, and Goldberg's arguing for us saying, why should we do it then if it's not mandatory? And so there was an argument between fire marshals saying these fire dampers need to be in like the elevators, because if not, you'd have a backdraft possibly, you know, when it came to a fire.
I see.
And so there was this argument going back and forth for us, trying to save us some money.
But it needs to be done for the most
But
reward.
when it's all done and over with, Introva says it probably needs to be done, and how is River City going to say, well, we're not going to do it then if they say it should be done?
And so the fire marshal concurs with that, is that what you're?
So all they're saying is that Introva is saying it should be done, they keep saying it should be done. It's best practice to do it, but nobody's telling them it has to be done. You see what I'm saying?
Sure.
Yeah.
So there's this argument, and so what's River City supposed to say? We're trying to save some money, trying to save you that money, but if they're telling us it should be put in, and they keep saying should, and they argue it to their face with blue, and then Introva says it needs to be done.
Well, what if we get down the road and then it is a requirement, and we're going back in,
Later on in
ripping
time.
something out, to make a bunch of changes?
So when it's all done and over, the Introva is the ones telling River City that it should have been done.
But at least it's not an oversight of the company.
No, sir, that's not the way I understand it.
Okay.
It was never in there, that's why they didn't put it in. It was never in there because they said it wasn't mandatory. But
Okay.
now that we've got this far ahead, Introva is saying, why haven't you got this put in? And they're saying, there's nothing that says we have to put it in there.
Okay.
Oh, it's not an oversight.
Still sounds good.
To me, an oversight, the company themselves need to be standing.
So,
Okay.
for example, on the smoke damper thing, no, not everybody can see what I'm looking at, but it's in your materials. There's highlighted boxes within the plan, and then a circle around a symbol that is in reference to a smoke damper. The question from, I don't remember which one, but are these meant to be smoke dampers? See screenshots in the attachment. We did not include these since they don't match the smoke damper symbol on MO.00. And it should have been smoke dampers, so they didn't include them because the symbols don't match up, and that's, I'm probably gonna say it better than anybody else. If it doesn't match up with the symbol, then how do you know to bid for it? And then you find out later on down the road that that's what it's supposed to be. So it needs to be changed because the intent the entire time was that those be smoke dampers. For whatever reason, in the original plan, they didn't show that symbol, and when you're going through and putting your bid package together, I would assume, you're using those symbols to rely on to get it done and bid it in the right way.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
Last one, change order 19, that's in reference to potential change order 20, $7,222 in response to RFIs 41, 47, 49, 58, 66. Actually, this one, let's notice the cost, 722.22, and the total 7,298 don't match up. So
Yeah, ours is,
we'll have to table that one.
Trigger just has the one.
Yeah, because the number you said, it's not the number that's matching on our screen here.
not much difference, it was only $60,
Yep.
70
So
something.
you want to wait on that one then?
Yep. I table that and deal with 19. I just got 20 this morning, so.
Okay.
So you're all three's enough.
You want to mark table on that? We don't have to have a motion to table it, do we?
I don't think there's been a motion made.
So that hasn't been a motion,
And then here these are.
Signature.
Yay! All right, Road and Bridge Superintendent Ryan, you're up.
Morning, everybody.
Morning.
Welcome back, Tom.
Thanks, sir.
Yeah, nice to have you back.
Thank you. Nice to be back.
I'm sure. So I've got a few motions and some discussion points today. First thing is just call outs. We did have one call out yesterday for a stop sign that was down, and went and took care of that. First motion I have is for this 1-ton truck that Adam was dealing with. I think he had bids openings here last week, and so this is what we got back on that.
I'm getting to it.
(2024-50).
Yep, 2024-50, motion based upon the recommendation, Road Bridge Superintendent to accept bid from Cromartie Chevrolet for 2025 Chevy 3500 with purchase price totaling $61,460 as being the best bid to be paid from general fund equipment line item. No trade-in, right?
No,
Okay.
Did you have other bids or?
Just two bids,
just these here.
Cromartie Ford and Cromartie Chevrolet.
Okay.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved by Meats, seconded by Thompson. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
All right, thank you. The next one I have is a disposal motion, and this is just for some used oil. We basically got 3 beds, and we had one company that's paying us 15 cents a gallon to pick up the used oil. Not to pick it, so.
Based upon the recommendation, Road and Bridge Superintendent to find that approximate 2,000 gallons of waste oil from the county shop is no longer required, cannot prudently be used for public purpose of Coffee County. Award informal phone quotes from GFL Environmental in Topeka, Kansas, with the best bid of paying 15 cents per gallon for removing and disposing of approximately 2,000 gallons of waste oil.
So they are paying the county?
Yes, I mean, out of everybody we called, they're the only company that's actually paying.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that was, I can't remember last time, what happened last time, but yeah, typically they'll pick it up for free, dispose of it for free for us. I mean, and that's what the other prices we got was just, they take it off our hands, but,
Okay.
I'll move. Moved by Knight, seconded by McCray. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion passes.
All right, and next, I brought this motion this morning, 2024-53, is that what you have next? Okay, there you go, I hand carried it. So this is, some discussion on Bridge B2. This will be the structure on the Olivet Road. Up there, the bridge that we have reduced down to one lane. You know, we put that application in for some funding. We was notified last week that we've been awarded that.
Good.
And so that's for $1.3 million for the replacement of that structure. Total cost on that structure is about $1.4. So our estimated cost is around $112,000 on that.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, that's really exciting. These are 2026 funds, so we're working with Cook Flat and KDOT to see how there's any way we can streamline that, how quick we can streamline that. We've already got the plans are already developed, pretty much 80% there. So I know a lot of times that kind of what takes a lot of the time on those projects. So I'm just working through some of that to see how quick.
So you said 2026 funds, you're saying that's KDOT's 2026 funds?
Yes.
Now, can we go ahead and finance it ourselves and get reimbursed?
That's what I'm asking. That's what we're checking on to see how we can make that work.
As long as it's done to their specifications.
Exactly right.
I wouldn't see a problem.
No, as long as we're going through the proper steps and the order, to get there, I would think that's a possibility. But Cook Flat's checking into that, and I've got some feelers out to KDOT, but that would be my thoughts is if we can go ahead and pay for it and then get reimbursed when those funds become available.
We already got our money set aside for that.
Yes.
And graciously,
Yeah, but, so now I have this motion, and then, I got two forms here I need you guys to sign, and I'll get that submitted in the
I
state.
think the governor announced that Thursday or Friday when it came in, and I don't watch a huge amount of news, but 40-some projects, there's $40 million involved in it.
Yeah,
40 projects and maybe 40 million, I forget. But to get 1.3 out of it, that's fantastic.
yeah, so they had 78 applicants that put in, and they awarded to 21 projects for, just right at $21 million on these bridge projects, so.
Wow. Based on the recommendation of the Road and Bridge Superintendent, move to accept Kansas Department of Transportation off-system bridge program for project replacement of Coffee County Bridge 2 located 5.5 east and .8 north of Lebo, and sign KDOT Form 1302 for the project program request with project cost estimate of $1,300,000. I'll move.
Second.
Moved by Knight, seconded by Huguet. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes.
All right, thank you. Just some discussion, just update on Old 50. So they got the north side, they've got the asphalt on the shoulder widening done on the north side. They moved on the south side, excavating out and working on getting some base rock back. That's kind of where they're at there. Talk change orders. There'll be some change orders coming down the road on a few things. Right now, there's only one that's gone through, and that was just for some additional signage for the 35-mile-an-hour signs up there. That change order was a little over $4,700. Our portion's $473 that the KDOT's approved on that. A few others that will be coming down the road. There's going to be one for some extra asphalt. And that would be for the wider shoulder. The original plans, there's to make a saw cut at 10 foot on the existing asphalt. Well, that road was actually a little narrower than 10 foot. And so in order to have a good straight line and a good vertical edge to tie into, wound up making a saw cut at 9 foot. And that way we'd have something good to tie into there. That's a participating item, so we're responsible for 10% of that. Right now it's estimated that total on that's $272,000. Our portion would be $27,000. probably won't have anything official on that until I get the other side done, get the asphalt done, then they would have what the official numbers would be on that. Couple other things would be, we have advance notices on, and eventually have change orders. There's 3 locations that will be some under drains going in. Those are just for some spots that we knew we had some issues with and been working on up there and need to do a little extra. Those would be non-participating items, so Coffee County will have to pay for those 100%. They're estimated around $62,000 for the 3 drains. And then there's a few isolated areas that there'll be a little more base rock utilized instead of what was in the original plans. That's the update on that for now, so.
Where was your 3 drains at again?
There's one there at the Key West Cemetery. There'd be one just west of Caffer Road, bottom of the hill.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's one going up the hill there.
Frog Creek?
Yeah, west of Frog Creek.
West slope of Frog Creek?
Basically a spring. There's some springs in there or something that, water's coming up on the edge. And
I thought there was an issue at the west side of the bridge, Frog Creek Bridge.
No, there's several areas that we went in when we did the proof rolling. There's a handful of areas that, showed that we needed a little more work there. So there's spots that they've gone in and have added more base rock or increased some of the base asphalt that's going in there. So that was just kind of a case-by-case basis. If there were short areas, then maybe over-excavated a couple inches and added a few inches of asphalt. If there was a lengthier area, we had them over-dig it. And so that's kind of what this one change order comes down for, the extra base rock. That's for some of those locations like that.
Did they already do all that on the north side that they had left?
We still have to do the 3 drain areas.
The 3 drain.
The 3 drain areas are what's left.
But the ones that didn't pass the proof roll, have they been completed? They have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I haven't been down there.
Yeah, no, right. No, they basically went in and reproved them, and like I said, they beefed up where they need to beef up. And that'll be the same process on the south side. Before we do asphalt, we'll proof roll it just as a final check and go through the same process.
One good thing, we're not gonna have 12 inches of rain this month, it sounds like.
Well, I see there's some rain chances coming up this week, so hopefully we don't get the rain that we had the first round.
I'd like to have a little rain, but 12
Yeah.
inches is a little much.
Yeah, so that's update there. Next, I met with KDOT last week to hash out some details on the 58 detour for next year. Kind of came to an agreement. I kind of presented the request that I had, went over that with you guys. We talked through it and kind of what they agreed to the following items. And at some point, the area engineer will come up here and have a discussion with you guys and get a contract signed on this stuff and just update you on the project. But part of that's going to be up to $60,000 for 4,500 tons of road rock. And that's on the detour. Up to $38,000 for dust control. And then there's up to $110,000 for asphalt repair. So basically, that's just for if we need to repair some asphalt roads. I think it's a good plan. Our only goal is just to make sure our roads are in at least the current condition at the end of the project that they are now. That's all we're asking for. So I think that'll cover good for us, I think.
That rock's primarily going up on 8th Road.
Yeah.
That across for 4 miles.
Yeah, so basically be looking at just adding a couple inches of rock through there prior to the dust control being placed. They have agreed to do dust control through that whole 4 miles.
That's it.
So they just want to do houses at first, but we talked through it, and I think everybody agrees that it's best to just do the whole thing.
That the railroad track crossing on 5th Road, any way to keep people off of that road? The dangers.
Yeah, so that's
thing is so dangerous.
That's going to be the tricky part to this. When this project starts, there'll be some confusion the first few days, and, I'm just hoping to kind of educate. We've got a plan in place. I'm gonna meet with the city of Leroy and kind of go over what this project and what to expect down there. I've been talking with the co-op down there, same type deal, and just try to talk with the locals the best we can, and, those aren't safe routes. I don't really want traffic running those routes, so what we gotta do when the time comes, if we have to have some additional signage and.
Split road closed, hell.
Yeah, so we'll work our way through it, and it'll be a pain and a frustration for a while, but, they're anticipating this to be a 6-month project, so.
They got it down to 6 months?
The structure's not that big of a bridge, so I think the area engineer, you can talk to him, but.
They told us 8 and 9 months.
Yeah.
Back, 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah, so I think, here before long, I think in November, end of October, I think they'll be going to bids, and they'll kind of have the idea of the working days that go along with that, so they'll have a little more idea on the time frame, but they're thinking it's gonna be more like a 6-month project, weather permitting, so.
Okay.
Those projects are always they're a nuisance, but they're a necessity also, so.
Right, so the way we have.
So we'll just work with the public and do what we can, to make it as smooth as we can, but there'll be some hiccups and some difficulties with it, that's just part of it.
Everybody hates road construction, but they hate poor roads too,
No, that's right.
so.
That's all I had for an update. I don't know if you guys got anything.
The only thing I got right, and I know this is not Coffee County, but it will be involved Anderson County for 6 months when all the semis have to take the route that has been designed. And that's at the end of 58 there at Colony. There's a 1/4 mile there, they resurface 200 or 300 yards of that 4 or 5 months. It's back now where it's worse than what it was 6 months ago because of how they did it. And then about a mile back west, there's a hole in the pavement. I should have went back and looked, and I know that's not your cause, but you could probably do more calling than what I could.
Now, are these on state roads, or are they county roads, or
On
what?
58.
58. I hit a hole on the westbound, 3 or 4 inches deep, and I don't know how big, but you talk about throwing a car off
Okay.
at 60 mile an hour, and it's probably 3/4 mile back west. I should have turned around and went back and looked. But it
Put a flower pot in it.
50,
I'm sorry?
Put a flower pot in
It's
it.
big enough, put a flower pot. I mean,
Well,
it's
so
totally.
58 and what, I'm sorry?
About
It's
3/4 mile
west
back
of
west.
169. I remember a big chuckle, but they had a
That's-
huge settled area in there for years that,
They dug out and redid it, or didn't dig it out much, they replaced it on top, and now it's got back where it was, worse than what they did.
Mm.
The state just hasn't addressed that the way it needs to be addressed. And
Okay,
now we got more traffic going back
right.
with this, creek bridge.
When that detour happens, so,
I don't know whether that's under Garnett's jurisdiction or Iola's, I don't know who's got control of it.
I would say that'd be Iowa.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll let you make the first call.
Yeah, I can make a call.
If I need to assist, and I can't do any more than you can do.
Yeah,
They've
I'll
gotta
call
get-
the area engineer and just, make sure that they're aware of it.
But they need to look at that pothole, it's, like I said, it's back in the westbound. It wasn't a very good deal.
These state roads are failing
They're not.
fast. 75 Highway 710 is atrocious.
yeah,
I mean,
it's
as
been.
much traveling as I do, there's roads everywhere that are just falling to pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's maintenance side or if it's
Yeah.
35's have
Weather.
bridges and the weather.
I was talking to one of the guys on the street tour for the city, that, it's so wet and it gets so dry. Jeremy his son poured a new patio last year, built some steps out, and the ground is heaved so much, it's now
Yeah,
draining back toward the house, so
yeah.
it's everywhere.
I know we had 3 years of drought basically, and then you had the wet
Yeah.
wet year like this year. It changes the ground, and our roads definitely
Tear stuff up.
shows the stresses there, so.
Yeah.
very much so.
That's all it was.
Off County Road is a whole better, most of the highways.
I will agree with that statement.
Gotta be proud of the Coffee County, what they do, and gravel roads too.
Yep. Well, is that all you got for us?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron.
All right, appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, have a good week.
Stu. Okay. Oh, yeah, I think Steve's got them now, or, thank you. There's several, okay, yeah. Make sure you got all those.
Two.
Two of them, that's what there was.
I'll just get a copy later. I'll get them later.
Well, that concludes our agenda. Sheriff, you got any wise words of wisdom today?
I do.
Okay.
So I'd just like to update you, we'll be messing with the insurance company on a vehicle. We had a canine handler headed south from training last week, and a truck pulled in front of him, and they hit and rolled the deputy's truck, had canine in it. Took the other driver to the hospital. I went up there and got our deputy and took him to the hospital down here. He didn't want to ride an ambulance, so I brought him down here. The rest of the dog to vet. Dog's fine. Doesn't look like there's any lasting effects there, but doesn't work well on vehicles at highway speed. The guy pulled right in front. We have it on body. We have it on camera. His camera was, of course, working.
Yeah.
Just 4 vehicles in a line, and 2 vehicles pass him, and just go past, and the other vehicle just turns right in front of him. So bang, hits, rolls him into the ditch. Luckily, he just had some bumps and bruises, and his knuckles and knee was skinned up, but he's hurting pretty good. Of course, you roll seat belts, cause issues across your chest and everything else. But vehicle's totaled. I mean, it's totaled. It's gone. Both of them were, of course. But, so now we've already stripped everything out of it, got our stuff out of it, and we're fighting with the insurance company. Figure what they're gonna get us paid so we can get a new replacement.
It sounds like your deputy took evasive action so that he.
He tried to mess him, he tried to swerve and mess him and couldn't, The guy of course, the deputy, we talked to him and said, one of the troopers that was there, troopers worked the crash. Trooper asked the deputy, said, so why didn't you go to the left? Why didn't you try to avoid him? The deputy says, I don't know why I didn't. Of course, once we immediately jerked our hard drive out and downloaded it so we could see the video. And it's pretty obvious why he didn't, because there's 3 vehicles coming at him, in the oncoming lane.
Yeah.
He had no choice but to go right. Guy pulls in front, just turns right in front. There's no doubt he's doing highway speed. And it's right there where the 4-lane changes to 2-lane north of Linden is where this is at. And so it's right there on that curve where, retired Sheriff Dunn says that more fatalities right there, and that people just try to turn in front of people, But anyway, he goes to the right, boom, they hit, and as the curve there, as soon as he got over on the shoulder, it just grabbed, and just rolled him. So, he put all the airbags, front, back. Maybe that's what saved the dog. I mean, the airbags went off in the back, above the windows and everything else, keep the dog from hitting windows, I suppose. But there's no doubt we can sell you a Tahoe very cheap if you wanted it sitting at the annex. So that's the only thing going on right now is just we'll be in a new vehicle.
Main thing is nobody was seriously injured any worse than what it was. That's the thankful part. To heck with the vehicle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, just want to let you know that happened last week. So.
Glad everybody's okay.
Yep.
Well, that's typical, though, that you don't normally swerve to the left, try to miss somebody. I mean, there's times you'd have to, but typically you're better to go the other way.
Yeah, the deputy was probably, of course, that vehicle was starting to slow and turn, Luckily, he didn't go left because those other vehicles were highway speed too, and he had it head on,
Yeah.
Yeah, he was lucky that he did try to go right to get away from the guy who couldn't go left, and the guy hit him and just rolled him down through the ditch. We're happy that everybody was okay, dog was okay, that's what we pay insurance for, cars can be replaced, so.
So the vehicle that caused the accident, they have insurance?
Oh, I'm assuming we haven't even got a report back from Highway Patrol yet, you know, it'll be 10, 12, 14 days before they go through their channels to
Right.
get us stuff. We looked at the crash log and we can see who the guy was and all that, but, yeah, we'll just have to find out.
Okay.
We've already called EMC and already took them pictures, made a claim, blah, 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 everything that we have to do. We did that, in fact, that afternoon. We were already trying to get this started.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Okay.
that's where we're at right now. We don't know.
Sounds like everybody's gonna be okay.
Yes, sir.
The main
Yes, sir.
thing.
I just want to let you know, probably gonna see something cracking across your desk here soon for another vehicle, and that's why, so.
Okay.
Fun times. Is that all you got?
If you saw the pictures,
It seems,
it's a miracle.
Yeah, he's lucky.
yeah, pretty lucky.
Both of them were lucky, so. It's good that Alec tried to swerve the missing, and Alec probably would have hit him broadside.
I was gonna say that if he would have hit that car broadside, somebody would have been come out well.
Yeah. Yeah, his vehicle, the other guy's vehicle, was in a smaller truck, and it pushed the front, when I walked by it to go get to Alec, I was walking the ambulance, I was on mission, I needed to get to Alec and see how he was doing. And so I looked over at the truck sitting in the intersection, and it looked like it hit a brick wall. I mean, the radiator looks like it was smashed across the very front and pushed up to the firewall. And I looked as I glanced and saw the passenger side of Alex's vehicle was in the ditch. It rolled over and on its wheels. I'm telling you right now, those thunderstruck bumpers that cost us about $800 to $1,000 probably saved his life. Highway speed, it hit right on that front quarter panel, that left front quarter panel. And it pushed that bumper in, but it held intact the entire time. And if you look at that other guy's vehicle compared to this vehicle, that bumper may have saved his life. I fought to have those on when I got into office, and I'll continue. It probably may have saved his life. That's all I can.
Help take the hit.
Oh, I'll guarantee you it did. There's no doubt. Look at the pictures and see what it is.
Okay.
Anything else?
Now, I'm serious. I talked about the jail guys. I hadn't went over, Wade and I hadn't went over in 2 weeks. Ryan called me, that was Ryan who called me now. Hopefully there's nothing wrong. But Ryan calls and says, you guys gotta come and walk through this. Ryan, we was over 2 weeks ago. What's gonna change in 2 weeks? Tom, you're not gonna believe it. Come over and walk through this place. I took all my staff, they wanted to go over, so we loaded up every hard hat and vest we had, and we took people over. It is unbelievable what they're doing in 2 weeks, the interior. You can see the outside.
Yeah.
So when you go in and you see now all the walls in booking, you can see the control room. You can see the walls going up in all the pods with the windows where you can sit in the control room and look at those pods. It is unbelievable how fast they are going in just 2 week period. I couldn't believe it. All the studs, the steel studs that you see on the outside will be going up in the upper now, which is county attorney's office, and patrol office, our evidence, all that. Folks, it's not going to take very long to put steel studs up and start putting walls up. They are moving right along. The mock wall is up, and it's no bigger than the space here where the podium is at. They've got a mock-up set up of the concrete block. They've got the brick on it. They've got the window put in so you can see the flashings around the windows. You can see, they keep saying ethos. You can see the ethos and so you can actually see what that is when they're talking about ethos going up on the west wall or east wall. The brick, you can see the coloring that we chose. The brick is already put up on that wall. Just go over to see that mock-up is neat to see that, what it's going to look like when it's done. We were told that they would start bricking today, and in 2 weeks, the entire east side will be done, and then they'll move right all the way around. Can you imagine putting up that brick that only taking 2 weeks in the entire east wall, front to back? Those boys go to town now. Unbelievable, those guys, what they do. Those bricklayers and concrete workers are unbelievable. You don't see them standing around.
But it's been like that all the way through.
It has, sir. It has not changed a bit since day one with them guys. I've heard River City say a couple of times, they sure hoped that this crew, Wheeling Masonry, would bid more of their projects because you don't see them standing around. They're go-getters, man. Very happy with all the crews that we've had so far. Ryan and Cole they got the whips out there now. I mean, they don't let these guys throw mud all over the streets. What they do, they tell them, go get it cleaned up. Go get a skid steer loader, and you clean that mess up. The other day, they poured some grouting out on one of the concrete floors. He said, before you do anything else, you get that cleaned up. And they had guys in there with shovels and brooms and water hoses washing all that stuff off the floors. He said, one of the big things you have in construction areas, places that look like, he said, that won't happen here. We expect these guys, if they make messes, to clean them up.
Good.
There's trash dumpsters there and everything else for that purpose. Pick your trash up, get it put up. They push them pretty hard, and it looks like that. You know, you don't see this. You don't see this place looking like other sites.
Because they know they gotta fix it or clean it up, they probably don't have as many issues either.
And the issue is River City, it's not their, they say, we're not gonna take responsibility to clean up their mess. They make it, they clean it up.
Right.
You know, the public's going down that street doing the stop and go, and they don't want big chunks of mud all up and down through there. If you make it, it's gonna happen. It's in a construction site.
Right.
But if you make a problem, cause a problem, then fix it. So they've been very good. I've been very, very happy. I haven't had complaints. I've talked to Craig Marshall on a regular basis, and the school's been happy with them, and if the school's happy, then I'm happy. So.
That's what we're looking for.
Take a tour.
Get it.
Yep, I'm gonna go over. Yep, go over. If you got an hour's time, stop in there, ask Waiter Cole, they'll put a hard hat on you and a vest and walk you through it. My staff couldn't believe it when I took them. So it is changing every day. Leaps and bounds.
Thank you.
No, thank you, gentlemen.
We're at roundtable. Start with Wade.
You may not have noticed, there was a check deposited into the municipality's fight addiction fund in the amount of $11,552.97. That's the most recent in a series that I think takes that account up to maybe $20-some thousand. And that's Coffee County's share, most recently related to the opioid settlement distribution, and that included a round of payments from the following settlements: Walmart, Walgreens, Janssen, CVS, distributors, Allergan, and Teva. So we've had some of those already, but I don't know what that criteria is. I just want to let you know each time that comes in, and then when the mental health board meets, I think the recommendation was honored that they control and sort of make recommendations on what that money should be used for. There are certain criteria. I keep track of it because I have to submit an annual report to the Attorney General's office related to what those funds are being used for, and that has to meet a certain criteria. So this is my file. If you ever want to see it, it has everything documented. Anytime anything comes in, I write it on the inside here so I know when it came in, who it came from, and then if I filed my report, and then these are copies related to each check, when it was deposited, and it also includes, if you want to see it, the annual report that I turn into the Attorney General's office. So for today's purposes, that's all I have, unless you have anything for me. Did I hear a wow?
What do you mean? Awful quiet, Wade.
Wait till next week.
We were just waiting for you to continue to.
Really glad to hear we get some of those funds.
Yeah.
I mean, anything we can do on the prevention side of all these problems, rather than wait until it comes to you and Tom. I mean, I really support that portion of, if we can do something to keep people from getting into those problems, I fully support it.
I think that continues for a few years, but I'm not sure of the length of it.
It does, and, you know, the AG's office is who is the conduit to Coffee County and numerous other counties who have signed on to have them sort of be the mouthpiece for Kansas and all of the counties that are involved. And the county will get its share when the time comes. It's just sort of an ongoing thing, and that litigation, as it unfolds, will have different distributions along the way as it has from the beginning.
Yeah, very good. Glad to hear it.
Steve, you got anything?
No, sir, no.
Don?
The only thing I have is that concern on 58 Highway, and I know that's in Harrison County, but we're gonna be involved in that road here next spring, and it's getting to be a mess over there. So, no, I don't have anything else.
Wade?
No, sir.
Tom?
It's okay with you guys, I'd like to go down and, talk to Ron, the economic development about, just kinda getting up with the new, chamber board director, and just, I don't know, seeing if she's been in communication with her, and, maybe not work together is the best word, but. you know,
Right.
I think
They go hand in
contact.
hand, and
Stay in
make a
contact.
suggestion to her to
Um,
get out and about, if you will.
I'm gonna make a prediction. I know this young lady, she's the salesperson for Goodyear, worked with our company. And I think we're gonna see great things from her. I hope she doesn't get too bored with the job, because she's a go-getter. And I think it's gonna be good.
Well, that's why I suggest, that Rhonda maybe get with her, and
Yeah,
that way she knows some of the things that are going on, future plans,
And
yada, yada.
And Tom, would be a good idea for them to work together, if at all possible,
Yeah,
and make
great.
contact with each other.
great.
That'd be a good
That's
idea.
okay with you guys.
Oh, yes, sir.
Go have a lunch or something.
That triggered something. I got an email from Matt Harmon, if you recall. The chamber board was here and mentioned, a request for a vehicle. There was gonna be a discussion related to a county vehicle that had been replaced with a newer vehicle for,
Yes.
I believe, the health department. And originally, that vehicle was gonna be offered for trade-in, and I think it was you, Wade, that said, well, let's hold on to it, we'll figure it out.
Right.
The trade-in offer probably did not match with what maybe the board thought the value would be. So I don't even remember what vehicle that is, to be honest with you. I think it was a Focus or
Ford
Edge or
Focus,
something like that.
Ford Edge, I think.
Edge,
isn't
I
it?
think, I believe. And I thought maybe we didn't take any action, but that was the intention.
There was no action taken. I think you wanted to wait and see what unfolded with a chamber director, and see what happened there. Now you know what happened. Now,
Yeah.
that vehicle, I don't know how many miles it has on it. I know Matt.
A little over 100, I think, it's the health department's vehicle.
2104, something like that.
Yeah, should be hopefully a good vehicle.
So I think the next step is, if that is something you're wanting to see happen, then you have to go through the disposal process, which would require notice and then an amount that you would want to see that vehicle passed on to the the chamber for, and it can be a nominal fee if that's what you want, but it has to go through the proper disposal process. And then Matt had also requested for chamber insurance purposes, he wanted to take a look at it, get a copy of the VIN to the insurance company so they would have an idea of what the insurance would cost for that particular vehicle. So,
What was that? Was that kind of part of our commitment, you might say, that we thought we, like you say, maybe it would be a nominal amount if we need to sell it, that I kind of thought that was kind of part of our, correct me guys, I don't remember, did we kind of commit to the money to help with the salary and we had this vehicle? We could,
That was,
We
that
did.
was, that was part of the discussion.
okay, so I mean, if we're gonna, maybe we need to sell it for an amount, but I felt like we were committing that we were willing to, if I remember correctly.
No, because one of the concerns was, she's going to be out on the road quite a bit,
Yeah.
visiting other communities. And I can't remember exactly how it came up, but the transportation came up.
Hey, Tom.
Yeah, but I mean, that was my recollection of us, we kind of committed that we would
We did.
donate that or to the cause.
We did.
If I'm not correct, somebody tell me.
I'd sell it to them for $1. I mean, I don't
Yeah.
care. I mean,
Yeah,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna
that's, I think
use
that's
it
what,
by anyway.
just if I remember right, I think that's kind of what we've alluded to, just to.
That's what that's my
Just to give
recollection.
them,
So,
transportation.
yeah, but I think, you know, my thoughts would be it would be very adequate at least for some time anyhow.
Yeah.
so you wanna drop a motion to advertise it? What do you, I mean, if we wait till next week, you got another week, and this could be thrown into a paper tomorrow.
and I think you can still move forward off, that'll clear the way to get Matt over here to get it looked
Yeah,
at, to get the
they can
process
check it
going,
out.
and then we'll
Yeah.
get the notice ready to go, so that next week it can be officially taken care of, but that's enough for me to take the next step. I
Okay.
thought that was the case, but I don't assume anything.
That's sure my recollection.
Too many days ago.
We did
That was how it was working.
And I don't know if the health department or another department is still using that vehicle. I just want to be able to say, here's my understanding of what the next steps are, so that there are no surprises.
Well, yeah, we might not check with Amelia and make sure that they're not using it, I mean,
Sure.
so,
Yeah, at the time,
at the
they
time that
wanted
was
it
the case.
replaced, so they got an expedition, I
Right.
think, is what they ended. If I remember right.
When's this lady start in her position? I forget, I read this.
I think she's
already
in her
there.
position.
I think she's already.
Beginning of September.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that she was retained, but I forget the
She
date.
just got great personality, just a go-getter, so I'm really hoping that's a good fit for her and everything.
Anything else, Tom?
No. Just thought I'd ask before I did it.
Anything on Angie's side?
Yep, she wanted to remind you guys that the SEK district meeting is in Crawford County on Thursday, September 19th. If any of you are wanting to go to that. And then we received a letter from the president of the board for Pleasant Hill Cemetery with an update. He was the one that had come in here and talked with you guys about the stones needing repaired. I think you guys had asked for an actual bid from the company. And his letter, which I had on your Canva, was stating that they couldn't give an exact figure, but it would start with $10,000 based on the condition of the stones and then go from there.
I mentioned here about 3 or 4 months ago, because Roger Gilbert was here. I mentioned I was gonna be in touch with Roger, and I kind of dropped the ball on that and didn't do it until about a month ago, and then I talked to him again here last week, so we have not met at the cemetery. The original bid was the original dollar amount was $30,000 at $175 an hour. And of course, I've been in the cemetery a couple times for funerals, unfortunately, but there are a lot of stones over there that it'd be good if they were straightened. But there's not an old cemetery around that don't have the same issue. And at that time, that 30,000, if I understand right, was gonna be spread over 2 years. Gonna take 2 years, because he's had other responsibilities and stuff. And now we're starting with 10 and starting out with 10. At $175 an hour, you know, is only gonna be about 55 hours. And so, I think, if you don't mind, let me visit with Roger at the cemetery, gather exactly what he's looking at, but it's gonna be something greater than we've done before. I think before, the greatest amount we've spent before in the last 8 years has been about $6,000 at Loeb Cemetery east of Leroy, where their fence was 100 years old, and so they put up a brand new white plastic fence that looks fantastic. 2 guys did that, and it was, I think, a little less than 6. And to me, that's the largest amount we've spent at every cemetery. But I don't know what everybody else's feelings are. You know, if they start out at 10, we're probably gonna end up much, much more than 10, based on the first cost came in at 30. So.
And the concern is if we do it for one, look how many cemeteries we have in the.
We open up everything.
Yeah, we open up everything.
I guess my thought would be that if we think 10 is, if that's a figure we came up with, then they spend 10 and go however far they'll go on the most severe ones, rather than say,
Just
we're gonna start with
sky's the limit,
1,
yeah.
have a cap. But I mean, that's just a thought. Open to any other suggestions too.
So that's not saying that other cemeteries would, you know, come in and request, but once we open it up, there'll be, you know, decent,
Some are in pretty good shape.
some others, and,
Yeah, that,
you know,
some, there's more that need horticulture.
my thought is probably keep it to 5 or 6 range, and I know you said 10, Wade, but,
Yeah. Well, the only thing I was thinking is, how long ago was that, if we're talking about doing the same amount of work with inflation, is, I mean,
How
like,
else do the cemeteries get their money?
yeah, he'd have to bring in a small backhoe and probably a small cement mixer, and that's probably what got it to $175 an hour, but that's pretty expensive.
Plot when they're sold, I mean, off of your cemetery plot's the only way they make money off of it. Once they buy the plot, it's done. It's not like you got a monthly fee for the rental.
they surely gotta get some money to pay for mowing every year.
Yeah,
do they?
most of
Well,
them do have,
Oh, they got tax levy?
they have
Most
small
of them got-
budget.
Right.
Most of them got a mill levy, but it doesn't raise too much.
They've got a
dollars.
budget.
Yeah,
And like the mowing is done,
Like-
is done on bid.
like Big Creek Cemetery, I know there's at least a fair amount, I wouldn't say a dozen stones
Right.
that definitely, I've just noticed by driving by there, that right there, you know, by my house there, could use some work.
Don, yeah, you visit with him, but I just wanna go and I'll take a look at what the cemeteries are bringing in for the mill levy. That way we don't get,
I'm sorry.
you wanna visit with Roger Gilbert, I suggest that's probably a good, or I think that's a good idea. But I also think it'd be a good idea to sit down and one time and look at just exactly what they are bringing in as far as a mill levy, and
Most, like,
It may be a
like
minimal-
Spring Creek and Avon and all of them in that area, you know, 1 or 2 mills just doesn't bring in too much out there in the agriculture area. And there's 1 or 2 mills, 1 or 2 cemeteries that are 0.
Yeah.
I think there's 1 or 2.
They come in and meet with me, most of them do, at least one of their members, and we do their budgets, which their budgets are fairly small. And we try to keep them just right at that revenue neutral rate, because they get so much pushback if they do exceed it.
I see.
But I mean, most of their money is spent just on mowing and just trying
Yeah.
to weed eat, because people don't wanna, it's a lot of work to go around and weed eat.
Doesn't the county pay for the mowing?
Some of them are doing their own mowing. They have board members that
But
are,
there were bids put out for, like, up around the Waverly area, for instance, so.
yeah, and I think they hired individual people to come and mow for them.
But it's out of their, that comes out of their budget,
Mhm.
their taxation.
Yep.
For the Leroy Cemetery.
And I have
it's a
copies
big
of all of the budgets in there if you guys ever need
It's a
them.
big cemetery, but Leroy City pays for it.
Yeah, some of them are part of the city, and then there's a few, like Pleasant Hill, where they have their own standalone.
It's quite a few dollars there for as big as Leroy Cemetery.
I guess my thought is like this cemetery we're talking about, I mean, lots of them are old graves. To me, it's a respect issue that they're maintained, and I know everything can't be perfect.
Sure.
I also think it's a respect issue that they're maintained in a fairly decent manner.
Correct. I go by Baker Cemetery, and I mean, there's the black iron pins. Things look nice there, and I go out to Bailey, and
Yeah, I think the difference was, see, that was moved when Redmond came in.
Correct.
So that stuff is new as far as the cemetery goes, fairly new.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about, Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could definitely need.
Yeah, Leroy's got a lot of 150 plus in it. I know this cemetery we're talking about's got a lot of 150 plus.
Just curious,
Yes, we was at round table here, but we'll jump over to you. That way you can go do what you need to do.
Greetings.
And I can't remember what you was coming in for.
This
Sorry.
first side, oh, that's all right, is basically what I gave you a few weeks ago, although I changed the date and I was gonna erase it, and I said, well, this would help to compare with what I gave you the first time. And the back side has the summary of what the sale actually just happened.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So we had 11 properties then with $32,000 in taxes fees, 6,800 in professionals, 5 had been redeemed. Well, since I gave you this, 2 of them got redeemed, and we took 9 to the sale. 20 bidders signed up, 19 showed up, because one of them was just gonna buy a little piece of dirt that was part of somebody else's. It'd be like, we have this great big table, and Wade's over here she was gonna make a garden, but the guy that owned all this said, well, I want that, and she said, oh, okay, never mind, I won't have a garden.
Okay.
So she didn't come. Other than that, 19 folks. One lady from Oklahoma showed up. I don't think she actually bought anything though, but she follows around the Clinda Osterman people. So $23,500 in taxes, fees, interest were in this total. Once, if you compared that to the front page where there was 32,000.
Okay.
So some of that, one big property actually is what accounted for almost all of that difference. And there was a little small one that the guy called me a thieving criminal when he paid, so he could keep his property. I'll leave it at that. All 9 properties sold for about $85,000, just a little over. That was including the fees to get the deeds done, which is $21 a piece. So I mean, you take $880 out, it's still over $85,000. Winning bids were anywhere from $50 for a little piece of shrubbery out in Jacobs Creek. It's in between a couple properties, which I thought one of those 2 would buy, but they didn't. So $50 for that, up to $41,000 for a home in Leroy.
Okay.
And let's see, out of that, out of $85,000, I think $17,000 is directly related to tax redemptions, not any of the other attorney's fees or the weed fees, but that's county taxes would be attributed to that. I believe they have some weird calculation they do, but from what I can tell, that's it. And that includes the 2024 taxes, which we waived, but by waiving, we're actually rolling them into this. And so I collected about $2,500 worth of that within there, which is mainly 4 properties account for most of that. So if you took all of the taxes due, again, not weed fees, and with 2024, it's about $18,000. So by selling, we lost, in essence, almost $1,000, but we don't pay for any of that, and that's just to get paying citizens on the books, and so the difference between what we collected versus what was due, $1,000, which is a lot better even than the last time.
That's all you can do.
Yeah. And so the extra money, I mean, you say, well, $17,000 and $5,000 there, there's still 60 whatever left. that goes to district court, and whoever owns the property can apply for it. And in one case, the $41,000 home, there was a personal lien against it by another individual who was doing long-term care type stuff for the lady. And anyway, she can apply to district court to collect her funds off of that. So that's where the extra goes, because we can't profit off of selling somebody's home.
Okay.
And then the attorney's fees left on 9 are $5,600.
The two people's here, that's what their fees was, $5,600.
Well, that's on these 9 properties, that's what was left. But when we started with, what was it, 16? So now it's almost $10,000. That came out of these 4 the citizens paid for. It didn't cost Coffee County anything. Like if we had gone through Wade's office, how many hours would that take? That we'd have to pay the staff, so.
Okay.
I was sitting with 4 or 5 guys over coffee last Wednesday morning, Thursday morning, I'm not sure. They got into a pretty good discussion on how the taxes are handled. And of course, they was talking about the $41,000 house, because that's just in Leroy. And then one of them was arguing very strongly that taxes were added at 41. The other one argued very strongly that taxes were not.
Yeah, taxes were only $8,200.
It was $7,200 on that one, well close.
Well, with the fees and everything.
Yeah. That's
It's
added to
82.
the 41.
Well, plus the $1,000 for for 2024.
Okay.
So
But it is added to the 41.
the 41 is the total bill.
Okay.
So that's how much, 41,121 is what she wrote a check for.
So the taxes do come out of
They
it.
come out of that, which, like I said, is gonna amount to 9,200, 9,300.
So they actually paid
With the attorney's
31,000. Actually paid 31 or 2,000 for the
Right.
house taxes.
And that's what goes to district court.
Okay.
Okay.
And then the lady with the individual lien actually had $38,000 against the property. So if nobody else comes and asks for money, she would get the entire amount.
Because I think the next cost house was $11,000. I think it was.
24 in Burlington.
It was more fun. Okay.
And it had 5,700, I think, in taxes.
I see.
And then there was
So
11,000,
it'll come back
and
down
Leroy
to
6,000.
Come back to 18,000 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, nutshell, there you go.
Very good. Thanks.
Save Wade's time so he doesn't have something else to do.
Okay.
We didn't pay for the people.
All
Makes
right.
it easy.
Success.
Yeah.
Thanks, Richard.
And so we'll see you in 2 years or 3 years, whichever one.
There was
Very
a
good.
sheet that was handed out to everybody that talked about, and that was one of the issues, one of the previous tax sales is title that goes with the property. And some people wanting to get title commitment, which,
Title insurance, so if Wade's moving in, it's no big deal, he doesn't really need title insurance because he's basically paying cash for it. But financing side, that's where things get hazy, and they said that last time, if you remember, I was sitting on the stairs, they said, could be sketchy trying to get title insurance. Well, apparently some people were in the bathroom or whatever and weren't listening. So I said this time, hey, write down that list of stuff and I will hand it out and they will sign that they received it. So everybody got that in writing.
Okay.
Makes it cut and dry, black and white.
Yes.
Very well. Thank you, sir.
That's all I got. You betcha.
Thank you.
Okay, back to you.
Her other note was she wasn't sure if you guys were wanting to discuss, planning and zoning board and housing authority board applicants. She has a folder here with all of the applicants in it. Wasn't sure if you guys were wanting to do with that this week or.
I noticed in the correspondence, there's something in there from the housing board that they discussed it in their meeting, that they had not been given another, member. We haven't chosen a member, so, I mean, I think at least get the housing maybe taken care of.
So did we have more than one applicant on the other finally?
I thought you only had one applicant.
When's the last time I did? I got planning board or so.
Yeah.
That's your housing authority one, and then these other ones are planning and
Yeah,
zoning.
we just had one over housing, is that the?
And she
Need a short break. Okay. We're gonna take a short break. We'll come back at 11:38. I don't know where the flies come from. They started buzzing in here a little bit ago. All right, we're back on the topic of housing authority, board member. I'd make a motion to appoint, is it Adele? Adele? We only had one applicant, and I'd make a motion to appoint Adele Clark to the Housing Authority Board.
I'll second it.
Moved by Knight, seconded by Huguenin to appoint Adele Clark to the Housing Authority Board. Any discussion?
Who seconded?
Tom. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes. Congratulations, Adele.
What's the term?
Is that
3 year, ain't it?
3 years?
I think it's
3 years.
like, when's it start, when's it end?
Oh.
It is, or is she just finishing? How would that work?
I've never had a meeting tomorrow.
Well, it
It
would
would be
replace.
an unexpired 4-year term.
Probably has 2 years left, would be my guess.
Let me see.
She's got it pulled up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find her little list here.
I don't remember whether it was an unexpired term or whether we just start her 4 years October 1st.
No, I think it's unexpired to fill Mike's resignation. Which he was in, he was filling, a seat out of my district.
Y'all have to look her.
What district is she in?
I believe she's in Burlington.
I forget the address now.
711 North Second.
Maybe Burlington. That's probably in Tom's district.
No, cheers.
Me and
Sure.
your district.
She in District 2? Be in your district, Mark.
I don't think it really matters where these district or where they're from.
Right.
As long as you get the best
They
candidate.
do a good job and get the best candidate for what you're looking for, and go with it. That's my thinking, but I'm sure that'll get turned around. But I'm sure it's still an unexpired term in 2 years.
That's what the ad said. I can add the dates in there.
Okay.
I just can't find it on her computer. It's probably
Okay.
easier on my computer to find it.
Well, it's right there on the wall. Good job, Mark.
Here's mine. Finally found mine.
It's already been taken out.
And it says 10/26/24.
Yeah, actually, this year,
That's
October 26th. But still should be filling an unexpired term. Heard it.
It's 1 or 2 meetings. Well, I bet we could go ahead and make it a 4-year.
I'm not sure why we couldn't.
Just have to ask Andy on that.
Yeah. Let's wait for clarification on that, I guess.
But anyway, we've appointed, there's a meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, she's gonna fill it to.
Congratulations.
Well, she can go to the October meeting.
Yeah.
I bet where it's this close to the end of the term, I bet you could go ahead and roll a 4-year.
Yeah, we
I don't
can
see
do
why
it
you
again in October if we need to. Or put out applications again. We've had applications out forever, but legally, would you have to do it again?
Well, we just want her to do like Jesse said, we'll just, she makes the October meeting. You're not gonna be able to notify her in time to make this month's meeting, 'cause it is the second Tuesday, am I right? It's second Tuesday at noon, yes. It's that large position, meets the second Tuesday, so just contact her and say she's appointed to a 4-year term starting in October.
That's what I do.
October 8th.
Okay.
If all that's correct up there.
Well, the
Double check it.
ad here says, serve an unexpired 4-year term, meet second Tuesday at noon, one position.
Okay.
But that's correct, that would have been for, when that was sent out, that would have been for an
Unexpired.
expired term.
Yes.
And so October would be when that term was expired.
Expired, yes.
Right.
So like I said, if she makes the October 8th meeting, she
She
starts
would
a
be
4-year term.
4-year term.
Yes.
Yeah, so that'd be fine.
Yep.
I wouldn't see why not.
And you still wanna hold off on zoning planning?
Correct.
Any more roundtable from you?
Nope, that's it.
Dang it, I was gonna ask Ryan about those road closures today. For the minimum maintenance.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Oh, well, he'll watch this and call me.
Checks.
Yeah, we got checks. Yeah.
Unless you got
Special
something,
issue.
okay.
No, I don't, I'm not gonna say a word, so. My mom always said, if you ain't got nothing nice to say, don't say it. There's only one of these, wasn't there? Yep.
These will all be in the yellow folder.
The first yellow folder.
The first yellow folder.
Just so that it all goes to the other floor.
In this first one, yeah.
maybe tonight on advertising.
Yeah. Looks like it.
She said she had some applications, I wouldn't mind going down and looking at them. Reviewing a few of them.
Tom, stuff together.
Library, everybody gets their money this month too.
That's over.
And this,
Yeah, those are for you.
this is part of this.
Still,
Do I?
still.
Yeah. We're dragging it till noon.
If I was gone and didn't have any executive sessions, you guys would have been long gone by now.
I know. That's why I said, wow, Wade.
From time to time, I can surprise you.
Mhm.
Said from time to time, he didn't say how far in between.
It's all about timing, Don. It's all about timing. Kind of like that call in the Chiefs game. It's all about timing. Detroit just laid an egg. They were driving and couldn't get it done.
You do fine.
Tampa Bay. Yeah. Playoff rematch.
I kid you, my son almost got him. Got it.
Okay. Okay.
Hey.
because of 19 days.
Are y'all done over there, Steve?
Yes, sir.
I would like to say that thank you for everybody that helped with the appreciation, employee appreciation luncheon you had last week. I think it was, right? Yep. That's great turnout. Thanks for everybody who played a role in setting up and tearing down.
Great turnout, great food.
Yep. The burgers were great. Hot dogs were as good as hot dogs can be. The baked beans were excellent.
They were.
But, nobody else has anything. Oh, I forgot, I got a, fiber board meeting tomorrow morning, and then there's a zoning planning board meeting Wednesday. So, I think it's just zoning and planning's discussing future stuff.
It sounded like when I talked to Heidi.
Yeah, pretty small. Nobody else has anything? Welcome back to the second week.
Thank you.
You're improving.
I'm improving.
For many more.
And it's really good to have you back.
Yes.
Thanks, sir.
Good to have full season.
30 weeks. 30 more weeks.
Nobody else has anything, we will adjourn at 11:55.